Your Social Security payment left your account this morning. The deposit came in at the usual time. But by noon, it was already sitting in a stranger's bank account across the country, and you had no idea any of it happened. That's not a hypothetical. That's exactly how this works. And right now, in 2026, two separate things are happening at the same time that put every person receiving Social Security by direct deposit in a more vulnerable position than they've ever been in. One is a scam. The other is a rule change at the SSA itself, a change made quietly, with almost no public announcement, that most people still haven't heard about. I'm going to walk you through both of them. Every number, every protective step, every rule that matters. Before we go further, I'll say this up front. Everything I cover here is general information, not financial or legal advice. These are real. I'll give you the sources so you can verify it all yourself. And here's the part I want you to stay for. There's a specific security step you can take, right now, today, before you finish watching, that puts a lock on your direct deposit that even a scammer with your personal information cannot easily break. I'll tell you exactly what it is before we're done. If you're new here, this is what Walter on Benefits does. Federal rules, real numbers, plain English. If that's what you've been looking for, hit subscribe and you'll get a new one every week. Let's start with the fraud picture, because it's changed in ways most people don't realize. The Social Security Administration is the single most impersonated federal agency in the United States. That has been true for several years, but the scale of what's happening right now is different. In 2025, the FTC received more than 330,000 government impersonation complaints. Reported losses among adults 60 and older reached $445 million in 2024. That same figure was $55 million in 2020. 4 years, an 8-fold increase. And those are only the cases that actually got reported. The FTC estimates that when you factor in everything that goes unreported, out of embarrassment, confusion, or simply not knowing where to call, the true annual loss from all forms of fraud runs somewhere between $10 billion and $81 billion. The basic phone scheme: someone calls, claims your Social Security number has been suspended, says there's a federal warrant out for your arrest, demands immediate payment or personal information. That one most people already know about. And it's worth repeating once, clearly. The SSA does not suspend Social Security numbers. It does not threaten arrest over the phone. It does not demand immediate payment from anyone. Nothing more. But here's the part that's genuinely different right now, and the part I want you to focus on. The grandparent scam, which has been around for years in a cruder form, has crossed a technical line that changes everything about how it works. Using as little as 3 seconds of audio from a Facebook video, an Instagram post, or even a voicemail greeting, scammers can now clone a voice completely. Not approximate it, clone it. The pitch, the cadence, the way a specific person says a name, all of it. Reconstructed from a clip shorter than your answering machine message. A McAfee study of 7,000 people found that 1 in 4 has either encountered an AI voice scam personally or knows someone who has. And academic research published in 2026 found something even more troubling. When people were asked to identify which phone calls were AI-generated versus real, most got it wrong. And they were actually more, which means the usual advice, trust your ears, no longer applies. Here's how this call typically plays out. Your phone rings. The voice on the other end is your grandson. Not someone who sounds like your grandson, your grandson. The exact way he breathes, the exact way he says your name, the fear in his voice. He tells you he's been in a car accident, or arrested, or he's in a hospital. He begs you not to tell his parents. He needs money immediately. The window from that phone call to a wire transfer or gift card purchase can be less than 5 minutes. That's by design. The pressure is engineered to prevent you from stopping to think. Adults 60 and older account for 43% of total AI fraud losses in documented cases. Individual losses range from $500 to $15,000 in reported cases. And some victims have drained retirement accounts or taken out loans, all to help a family member who was never. It does not rely on your ability to detect fake audio, because researchers have confirmed you can't. You set it up before the call comes, and it makes the entire scheme fall apart. Here's what you do. Agree on a safe word with your family. Today, this week, before you need it. A word or short phrase that only your actual family members would know. Something that wouldn't appear in any public post or document. If you ever get a distressing call from someone claiming to be a family member, before you do anything else, you ask for the safe word. A scammer with a cloned voice does not know it. Your real grandchild does. And if the caller can't produce it, or if there's any doubt at all, you hang up and call that person back directly on the number already saved in your phone. If they answer normally, the call you received was a scam. Do this today. It costs nothing, takes 5 minutes, and the only time it can protect you is if you've set it up before the call comes. Now, the second thing. And this one comes from inside the SSA itself. As of March 31st, 2025, you can no longer change your Social Security direct deposit information over the phone. That option no longer exists. The SSA eliminated it because roughly 40% of direct deposit fraud cases, situations where scammers redirect your monthly payment to an account they control, start with a phone call. Someone calls the SSA, impersonates you, and requests a banking change. Approximately 70,000 such requests get flagged as suspicious every single year. The agency concluded that the phone channel was simply too easy to exploit. If you change banks, if your account gets closed, if your debit card expires and the account number changes, if anything at all happens that requires you to give the SSA new banking information, you now have exactly two options. You can do it online through your My Social Security account at ssa.gov, which requires identity verification through that account. Or you can go in person to your local Social Security field office and verify your identity there. That's it. The phone option is gone, and it is not coming back. The reason this matters so much is how quietly it was implemented. The announcement came through the Federal Register, not a press release, not a letter to beneficiaries, not anything that would reach most people. That means a large number of Social Security recipients today still believe they can call the 800 number and update their banking information. Drop a comment below right now and tell me, did you know the phone option was gone? Or is this new to you? I read every comment, and knowing who this is actually reaching helps me decide what to cover next. The people most affected by the elimination of the phone option are those who live far from an SSA field office or have limited access to the internet. There are currently 6 million Americans who live more than 45 miles from their nearest Social Security office. For those people, just go in person is not a simple answer. It may require help, transportation, planning, which is exactly why setting up that online account now, before any of this becomes urgent, is so important. Here's what happens if your banking information on file with the SSA becomes invalid and you don't update it correctly using one of those two methods. Your payment doesn't get delayed, it gets rejected. For anyone on a fixed income, where that monthly payment is the difference between covering rent and not covering rent, weeks without it is not an inconvenience. It is a genuine financial crisis. If you don't already have a My Social Security account set up at ssa.gov, here is the step you take today. Go to ssa.gov, look for the My Social Security section, and create your account. It's free, and it takes roughly 15 minutes. The verification process requires some personal information and a form of identity confirmation. Doing this now, with no pressure, is completely different from trying to set it up for the first time on the day your payment has already stopped arriving. Once your account is active, you can check your payment status at any time, view your earnings history going back decades, see your benefit estimates, and update your direct deposit information if you ever need to. That account is your direct line to your own record. And here's the security step I mentioned at the top, the one that functions as a lock on your deposit. Inside your My Social Security account, there is a setting that can block changes to your direct deposit information through certain channels. Reviewing and activating those security settings, including a strong, unique password and a phone number for two-step verification, makes it significantly harder for anyone to reroute your payment, even if they have your personal information. This is evergreen protection. You set it once, and it works for you continuously. So here's where things stand. Fraud targeting Social Security recipients is at an all-time high, and the AI voice cloning technology now being used in grandparent scams is not something most people can detect by listening. That protection is gone. The only defense that actually works is setting up a family safe word before any call comes. The rule around direct deposit changes has shifted. Phone is no longer an option, And not knowing that could leave you without a payment at the worst possible time. Get your My Social Security account set up at ssa.gov. It's free, it takes about 15 minutes, and having it ready is the difference between fixing a problem in a day and spending weeks trying to get a rejected payment reinstated. If someone in your life receives Social Security by direct deposit, share this with them. A parent, a spouse, a neighbor. These rules have changed, and most people haven't heard a word about it. That's what this channel is here for. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.